tonight we're going to talk about balloons. We're still talking about balloons or some unidentified flying objects. Then there's a mushroom cloud over Ohio. Have you guys heard about this? Well, you're going to find out.
To the patio.
When I was 10, no, I didn't see the wrong kind of wish that I was in. I grew up, thought was living in my head, figured the life that I was living, I'd be better off dead.
Hey, welcome to the patio. This is T, and I'm here with everybody in studio. Been a lot going on since our last episode we dropped on Thursday. And unfortunately, it's a lot like the stuff's been going on prior to that. We're still talking about these stinking balloons, although now they're calling them unidentified flying objects. How are you doing tonight, Jamie? Have you had any balloons flying over Fort Berry Nation?
No, but you know, it's Valentine's Day, so there might be some balloons showing up.
It is Valentine's Day.
Will they have a payload?
They don't have a load. Look, it is the most made-up holiday ever. But
it is. Daggum corporation.
Look, you need to keep your load to yourself. You don't need any more children.
No, the payload gets expensive.
Well, how about you, Gary? How are you doing this fine holiday? This is, I forgot it was even Valentine's Day.
Holiday-ish.
Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I love being here.
You're in love?
I'm in love.
You feel like Cupid?
I do.
We should have probably had Gary in a Cupid
We should
outfit.
start dressing up for,
You know, we could have, instead of bringing in the fighter jets, we could have Gary in a Cupid wings and outfit, just shoot him down with an arrow tomorrow. He could love all of these stinking
You're
balloons.
way too excited to be here, by the way.
I'm really excited to be with you guys.
DW, how are you this fine Tuesday?
All is well. All is well. No Chinese spy balloons over the White household.
That sounds
unless you say the White House, because you can't verify that.
Technically, my house is white.
Yeah,
in more ways than one, right?
Right. It's full of white people.
Doesn't your property extend like infinity above your house?
I don't think so.
And below, well, kind of. No, I guess someone could have mineral rights to your home.
They have mineral rights, and you don't have a certain point. You don't have the airways.
Does that mean they can come in my house, take my salt?
So who?
That's right.
I mean, technically, that's a mineral.
Gold, salt,
my oil,
your any of that type of stuff. But no, we had some interesting things occur. So we had the one Chinese balloon that we all now know was part of the China.
The one that they've said is
the one
Chinese,
right?
That traveled freely across the U.S. just like those illegals come across the border. They just traversed, whatever that means.
And then all of the other ones are just suddenly from we don't know where they're from.
Yeah, not yet.
Well, not yet.
Yeah. But there were 3 more shot down. And, man, I got to tell you, when you hear them talking about some of the descriptions, the eyewitness accounts of these things, it's a little bit disturbing. That's what I think they call them UFOs. The latest I heard was that it was an octagonal item.
It's an octagon.
An octagon.
It's a freaking octagon.
It had 8 sides.
Stop sign,
It
guys.
had 8 sides.
Had UFC fighters.
Floating, but then it also had these ropes or cables.
It looked like jellyfish.
Yeah. Right, but it looked like it should be holding a payload, but guess what? There was no payload.
It's been dropped already.
Dropped it.
It's been dropped.
Okay,
so what was in the payload?
So here's a theory.
COVID.
This is play the conspiracy theory thing.
Go.
This is breaking news. So what if these are the balloons that spread COVID all over the world, and these are the ones that lost or just happened to just now come down? What if the payload?
Okay,
was
now
COVID?
I haven't heard that one, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out that
they put it in the wind,
that they had something like that. And you think about it, you go to the north and you put it into the wind, it's only going to travel south.
It gets in the trade winds.
So we also know very little about this Ohio incident.
Yep,
where they say they blew up this train, this chemical train.
Yeah. Well, not only did they blow it up, they burned it, which is highly irregular and not common for any type of chemical activity.
What if the balloon took out the train?
Well, I think we're going to find that there's a lot more to these balloons than we're being told. Can they carry an EMP?
That's a good question.
Can they? I'm sure they can. There's no reason they can't carry.
EMP is going to be a shorter range device, but if you use it in the right place, you can mess up a lot of crap.
Like over a nuclear facility?
over anything that supplies power to a lot of people.
And then you have nuclear fallout because you lose control of all your electronics.
I don't look. I've gotten lazy on my bug out bag, but because of everything going on, I fixed to restock.
Everyone should.
What you gonna put in there? I got a bug out bag full of ramen noodles.
That's
and
what I was
bullets.
about to say. Ramen noodles.
That's all I got.
Well, I typically carry a map of Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee,
And an axe.
And a hatchet.
I know that.
Yeah,
A hatchet.
Because you were super proud of it.
Yeah, I want to go into get some fire starting kits. I need to update that. I mean, just the typical stuff, and of course, plenty of ammo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining you in like an actual survival situation.
Like I break into a donut shop.
Yeah, with your axe. He's using his axe to slice the donut into portions.
Jamie is walking around saying, backpack,
Look here, children.
backpack.
We all get an eighth of this donut.
Look, you
I
brought
got Cheryl.
You brought up the EMP, and we know COVID wreaked havoc, if you will. It caused us to shut the world down. But if truly an EMP was released in proper locations, the fallout from that alone would be absolutely devastating. There's some studies and where they've run this analysis of what would happen with the EMP hit somewhere around midway of the East Coast, and like 60,000 feet in the air. It would knock out the entire grid on the East Coast and take up to 2 years.
Yeah,
and the worst, scariest part is they claim 90% of the people inhabiting that region probably wouldn't survive 2 years without electricity. Now, how
region
crazy
wouldn't.
is that?
No, that region wouldn't.
But how crazy is that? You think that just by taking the power away, 90% of the population couldn't survive?
Absolutely. In a urban area, absolutely.
I think 90%
they
kind of high.
They would turn on they'd turn on themselves within days.
It would be like the zombie apocalypse, except the zombies would be starving humans.
I mean, how many people are dependent?
That is
I mean, how many
lot.
people in those big cities eat out every single night?
Well, like we said before, they say grocery stores have about 3 days worth of food for their local area.
It makes sense.
So I mean,
we don't have 3 days worth of toilet paper.
So you set off 2 EMPs on the East Coast. You set a couple off on the West Coast. You
dude,
set a few off. You don't take many to really impair.
You
the
drop
United
one
States.
over New York, Boston, D.C., San Diego.
I'm not even sure
Houston.
you have to have that many.
No, that's 5. I just think 5, and you shut down. Look, you take out Houston, we lose all our oil. You hit San Diego, we lose we lose the entire Pacific fleet
And a zoo.
Look, I think our big cities are the places that make America like America. Like, I mean, they make like our economy. They build.
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
they make it run, right? Like, we get all the stuff, but when it comes down to stuff hitting the fan, these small towns, these little places are going to be where I hate to say resistance, but where the resistance
will be the rule.
I mean, that's
rural
the
America will thrive.
And
I don't know if you can thrive, but rural America will do much better.
Well, the
than
South
urban
extends
America.
further than what people realize too. I mean, you got people that are in the mountainous regions of Tennessee and stuff. That's not necessarily the South anymore, but there are people that
the upper Midwest. The upper Midwest though is all farmers. I mean, they're growing corn. They have farmland. They know how to do.
Look at the geography of the United States. We have the Rocky Mountains and Appalachians. We have 2 barriers that if anybody was invading, that's 2 barriers that are going to slow them down. Nobody wants to cross either one of them.
You know where they don't want to cross?
So that leaves you coming
Mexican border,
Memphis.
That leaves you coming up through the South if you're going to get to the interior.
Yeah, but so let's say that they sent these balloons. They hit the EMPs.
You know what'd be worse?
What?
This PIMP right here.
Oh, hold on.
Dang.
I got.
Nah, that ain't a womp. That's some. I was expecting like some Jay-Z or something to play.
That is 50 Cent. I'm sorry, that's 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Nah, you need something because that man said he's a PIMP.
He don't know how to spell PIMP.
Jamie,
I've been sitting there 5 minutes trying to
look here, Jamie.
Yeah, he was trying to get it spelled
you
correct.
won the podcast tonight. Yeah. That's the clip. That's it. Like, you won the podcast tonight.
But even if they did though do that, is there any reason for them? They wouldn't attack immediately. There'd be no reason for them.
No, you would wait a little while to see who kills herself out.
Yeah, you'd let the people deplete themselves.
Or you spent the last year infiltrating our border and be ready for it. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, you counterattack. But
no, not
if you're already here, because we sell land. Honestly, like a lot of our countries are dependent on each other now, anyways. So China depends on us for stuff. We depend on China for stuff.
So we've got these balloons. You know, this last bunch they claim we're not certain where they come from. No one would be surprised to hear that they're Russian, right? I mean, it could be. But the U.S. is now, I'm surprised this hadn't already happened, but they've now urged all Americans to leave Russia because of the risk of being harassed or incarcerated by the Kremlin. And that just came out earlier today, just a couple hours ago.
Dude, Russia's falling on its face. And there's a lot that says China economy's kind of in a bad way. But, I mean, so is ours.
Well, why wouldn't Americans still be in Russia, though? Why would anybody
Well, some people
America
live there.
be there? Yeah, but when something like this starts to happen, those are the people who need to leave.
I mean, we have embassy workers all over the world, so we have troops there. We have people that do common jobs that work for an
Look at
embassy that are
Benghazi.
there.
They don't know when to get out anyway. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we still got people in Afghanistan.
Man, don't
And we
even
were-
get me started on that, dude.
yeah.
You got a group of dudes that are just sitting around that decide, all right, these people are in trouble. We're gonna go help them, and then America doesn't help them.
Yeah, but in reality, they shouldn't have been there anyway. They should have been pulled out before that.
Yeah, they should have. But then you got a good group of dudes that says, hey, let's go get our people, and then you got the America leaders.
And then you got a group of dudes playing
Sitting
another
and
dude
doing
that's
nothing,
playing another
man.
dude.
Makes me mad,
Yeah.
man.
What they're actually
Look, I ain't even
implying.
trying.
Tropic
I ain't
Thunder.
even trying to joke, dude. Like,
Tropic-
that pisses me off so
Look,
bad.
nobody should have been there to begin with. That's you can cut it 1,000 ways. Nobody should have been in Benghazi at that point. They already had intelligence that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
There was no reason for people to be there.
Yep.
man.
and nobody
Just
would die.
Just a bad situation, man. But I do respect those guys that came and defended those people.
Absolutely.
To like the
Right,
end.
what are we
I
talking
mean.
about? I thought we were talking about Russia.
Well, we are.
Nah,
we
we
got on
got pissed
Benghazi.
off about
Benghazi.
bad people
Right.
making
What's
bad
that got to do
decisions
with
for
Russia?
us. It ain't got nothing to do with it.
It's got to do with people staying too late in
Okay. Yeah, because the part of the worry about the people remaining in Russia is they fear that Putin may force them to fight for the Russians. Because apparently, I guess they're coming down to being a draft. Either you fight or you go to
the gulag.
the gulag.
I mean,
You
essentially,
been playing Warzone?
I mean-
Gulag.
Yeah, actually,
I mean,
yeah.
you look at Afghanistan, you look at Russia and Benghazi. Our pullout game's got to be stronger, guys.
But it was weak in Afghanistan.
That's a solid joke to compete with his other one.
I know,
Yeah.
that's solid.
No, it's not right there.
Here you go. Give me,
There it is.
let me
There
know.
it is.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah, that's a solid joke. That's a solid joke.
You guys set me up for
Are
it.
you telling me Biden's pullout game's weak?
Yes, a lot of. I mean,
Well, Afghanistan, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean-
going in Afghanistan.
Yep.
We're
He
leaving Afghanistan.
He left
but-
equipment behind.
left all our toys. And
I'm not sure that Biden's pulled into anything to pull out of in a long time.
I don't.
He don't remember it if he did.
Can you pull out of something if you don't know where you're at?
Good point.
Well, yeah, because Jamie and it. Well, that was a story for Jamie sitting in the parking lot waiting for the light to turn red or green.
But yeah, I mean, it's they shouldn't be at this point. Nobody should be left in Russia. I mean, there's no reason for U.S. citizens to be left over there.
No,
And-
none at all.
If you're there on your own accord. And at some point, the government shouldn't make a stand to go get you if you refuse.
Well, and
to
if you
leave.
are there and you're living there, then you've basically accepted.
You're accepted,
You're
yeah.
Russian, right? You accepted
Yeah.
that lifestyle. You've chosen to be Russian at this point, not American anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you probably do have people that want to leave and can't for some odd reason. I don't know what it's like over there.
I think, yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. Either.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
it may be hard to leave. We don't know.
So today, this is today also. The elite brigade of Russia lost 5,000 soldiers fighting against the Ukraine.
It don't sound very freaking
That's
elite.
That's what they're claiming here.
We need to rename that.
This comes after a strong Ukrainian counteroffensive effort in the fall that led to troops regaining control of Kherson. Advancement stalled on both sides. Much of the fighting has shifted to Bakhmut. These sounds like Afghanistan names, but it's not. A renewed offensive is expected to take place in the spring with Russia adding up to 500,000 soldiers to its ranks from a new mobilization. How many people are even in the Ukraine?
So Ukrainians got a lot of support, but you got people in Ukraine actually fighting to not be oppressed.
Look, is it
Makes a difference.
What's the name of that city? Buckmont? I know I said that wrong, but
Yeah, no, that's about as good as I did.
If you look at the map, I tell you what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Stalingrad.
It's about 43 million.
Like they're sitting there almost surrounded on three sides, and they refuse to leave the city. And Zelensky said he will not withdraw from the city.
I freaking fight, man.
So it is Stalingrad all over again, and Russia's fixing to get the same thing happening to them that happened to Germany. They're hell-bent on taking the city instead of bypassing it.
I mean, you've done so much damage, you could roll right on by.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of Hitler's greatest blunders right there. Well,
It's a pride thing, man.
yeah.
Well, the balloons are probably tied to Russia, China. All of this is going to be. We'll probably find out in the not so distant future what they have.
So here's what I
to do
think
with
they
each
are.
other.
I think they're Chinese balloons, but I think they're being launched from Russia. It just makes more sense. It's closer.
Yeah, to come from Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense, and they're flying right over that path.
I
Think
figured
about
there's
it.
balloons tied to Biden's wrist right now.
So we got Alaska, northern states. I don't remember which one. Where was
Montana.
Montana, and then you got one ending in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Where they shot it down. So I mean, think about that path from that Russian edge.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it makes
It's
sense.
very close to the U.S.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to another subject Donnie brought up earlier. In Ohio, this has not been like really blasted all over the mainstream media. There was a train derailment like last week. About 50 cars, including 10 carrying hazardous material, derailed in a fiery crash in East Pennsylvania on Friday, February 3rd. So this is 10 days ago.
It's my birthday. Yay.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Yay.
But they've basically nuked the town, is how the town people are referring to it. Residents evacuated from a freight train derailment before a huge cloud of toxic gases were released in an explosion fear. They could still be in danger nearly 2 weeks later. And they've now actually set fire to the chemicals as a burn-off. And if you look at the...
Well, didn't they say that the police did that?
I'm sure the authorities did. But let's see here. They're still... authorities are still telling everybody it's safe, that the cloud of gas is nothing to be worried about. Why is this not more news? Are we more worried about UFOs than we are the...
We are, but what impact is this doing to the, like the Mississippi Delta, the floodways?
Somebody put that in our
the
group text
environment.
earlier, and that was something I didn't think about.
So I didn't either. So Ohio River drops right in the Mississippi River.
Was it T?
It was me.
No, it was
Oh,
Donnie.
look
Yeah.
at you, man. Hey,
He's on top of it.
you are.
I didn't think about it being
brilliant.
that close to the waterways.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, that gets in the water, that goes in our food. That, I mean, that feeds the entire delta.
Oh, the Mississippi River is like
the largest
crazy
river in
important,
America.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That whole it basically cuts our country in half. So
Yeah, I
all
went to-
those bridges are important. There are fiber optic cables that run through there.
Yeah.
All that's important.
Do you know what the name of this village is?
What's it?
East Palestine. Now,
Yeah,
how
it is
fitting is that for a war zone?
I will
type
be
area?
real. I'll be real honest. When I saw that, my first reaction was, "Oh, damn! There's a train wreck in Palestine, Arkansas."
I thought it was overseas, but yeah, same difference.
Same thing.
There's already been lawsuits filed against the rail operator.
Mm-hmm.
They claim it was caused by negligence, but you know they're trying to convince people it's okay to continue living there. Then you got people coming out like the fire chief saying he's not sure that people should.
But they
be
have
allowed
like
back in.
animals dying within. I don't remember the radius that was in the article, but animals are dying within like a pretty broad radius of that site because of the chemical gases.
I'm gonna imagine that's
things.
gonna be uninhabitable for a while.
Yeah.
But they've told them they can go back home. This is where we get into trouble. The EPA has sampled nearby rivers to determine whether there has been any water contamination. There you go, Jamie.
I'm sure they're gonna say no.
Well, they also tell you it's just a balloon.
Well, but what's troubling is any other time they would tell you that there was something wrong and probably blow it out of proportion. And the fact that they're telling us there's nothing wrong now, we are
Questioning
question
it. Yeah.
We don't believe it either. I mean, this just goes along with the narrative of everything. No one believes anything coming out of the news.
So think about just the flood of stuff that's happened in the past year.
Well, here's the thing: if they told you exactly what they really thought, it'd cause mass chaos. Is
Well-
what it would.
So
Well,
wait,
that's
wait,
why we don't believe
Independent,
them.
well, you know, we're more like independent media.
Would China send balloons if we were if we had a stronger administration?
No.
No.
Well, I don't
think
depends
so either.
It depends on what they're trying to accomplish.
But I mean, you know, there's tons of stuff that we never know about. Look, the public saw these balloons. How many times have we had a balloon before that we let float through and no one ever knew?
Yeah,
Well,
that's the
or
only
that
reason
we
this came
shot
up.
down and no one ever knew.
Well, actually, there's evidence out of China that their top airship scientists first sent a high altitude balloon called the Cloud Chaser 4 years ago. So the first one they think was about 4 years ago and went 65,000 feet. So they've been testing this ever since.
Yeah.
I mean, low tech. Sometimes you got to go back to make stuff work.
I mean, low tech. One
You
of the,
fly a jet over here or whatever,
dude,
we're gonna pick it up. Right?
the
You fly a little bitty balloon.
well, the A-10 is one of the most devastating planes we have in our arsenal.
Oh, it's a beast.
But this is a Vietnam airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it can
But
do work.
yeah, but the point is, low
That's the
tech
working
sometimes-
man.
But low
Yeah.
tech is sometimes the most.
It is.
Now, a couple of the ones that they got recently weren't balloons.
It was Pennywise.
Tonight.
Pennywise balloons.
So even the Biden administration, who we don't trust, says air near the derailed train and controlled chemical burn is safe amid concerns of water contamination. And I mean, even here we have conflicting stories, but no one is listening to mainstream media. There's question. Nobody believes anything they say. That's why folks like us, we are independent news.
We are independent news.
We are independent news. Folks like Tim Cass, folks like
So
I think
have they
that's-
ever came out and said what's in these trains? Have they?
there's let me look at. I saw it earlier. Vinyl chlorides. It is here. It is vinyl chloride. Ethyl acrylate, isobutylene, glycol monobutyl ether.
All right, T. Do you know
ether,
what?
nice,
So
nice.
you're an
Gary.
engineer and you deal with plastics, right?
No, Gary's a chemist, though.
But well, T's an engineer and he deals specifically with plastics.
Actually, I deal with acrylate.
Yeah, he does.
What's
Yeah,
that?
so I
Acrylics.
mean,
It's plastic. It's chemical. These things are really, when they're in the wild, and I don't know much about vinyl chloride, but the others are similar to gasoline.
so are
will
they
burn.
toxic when they burn?
No,
Isn't
no
everything
more-
toxic when it
no,
burns?
no more so than like gasoline. The vinyl
Okay.
chloride would worry me, wouldn't it, you, Gary?
yes, chloride.
That's the one
Especially
that-
burning it. Yes.
And if there's water mixed in with the vinyl chloride, you could get hydrochloric acid, or you could get
Yeah, that, I
Yeah,
know
a lot
that
of
could be a
different
problem.
things.
a lot of different things. But yeah, this is a bad deal, and I don't really understand why it's not got more airtime.
It is kind of odd that we haven't seen really anything about it on the public big time media.
I mean, in fairness, I don't really pay attention to big time media either. But
Well, we all know I don't.
yeah, but I mean,
Okay, so when I had brought up the article earlier, it was from a main news outlet. This is from an independent news outlet saying that there were chemicals that went directly into the Ohio River. Now, that other article said nothing about that. These chemicals went directly in to the river at the crash site. There's no telling what the
well, I mean, you can't stop the
long-term
ground. You can't stop the ground leaching into the ground, getting into the
No, you can't
aquifers.
stop.
I mean,
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's done happen. You can't stop it.
I mean, there ain't crap you can do about it now.
nothing.
But they're not gonna tell you exactly what they think. Like I said, it's if they do, it'll be mass chaos, or you won't go back
It
to your
probably
house.
already is mass chaos. Well, are we not on the verge of mass chaos? What about, I'll tell you some mass chaos. How about the halftime show at Super Bowl last year?
Bro,
How about the halftime show at the Super Bowl?
I heard if you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it.
well, you
what
just
if you
play
rub
with
it?
Wait,
Yeah.
and then smell it. I don't know.
Look, all I know is what's his name? Already come back and hit her a couple more times because
Oh, Chris Brown.
yeah, Chris Brown. I come back and
Oh my god.
Well,
You
apparently
know-
she was pregnant, but they didn't. They should have thought about that before they had the halftime show.
So I like my halftime show with like more than one person.
yeah, it's a
I
surprise.
want to see like multiple people. I want to see Snoop Dogg, Eminem.
I think
50
all of us
Cent.
Like
were
last
waiting on
year's.
that.
Yeah, I liked it. Roll up in a Cadillac, old school. I want some entertainment. I was not entertained.
That was not.
no, there was. I mean, in
I don't expect to
It's-
like everything about the halftime show.
social media destroyed them.
Absolutely
I hope
destroyed
they
them.
did because it was terrible.
I've heard it referred to, like in this article here, dancing with sperm.
Yep.
Shrouded like the blob, holding her bladder. Look, she rubbed her crotch. No one can deny that. And I guess we're used to seeing men grab her crotch, but
So I sent this
Not so much.
jokingly earlier in the podcast. What if all the white outfits were the balloons, and then she's representing the red China? Conspiracy play.
you don't hear the athletes that they have nothing bad to say about China. They never do. They never will. They want to talk about reparations, slavery here in the U.S., but what's going on? How they're treating people in China is
Well, it's
far
a-
worse
it's a
than
money
what's going
source.
on here.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
So dude went to the Super Bowl. Now he can't play tonight, I believe, in this game.
Because he went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, I don't know why.
I cut him from my team.
I imagine he's going to sit most of the rest of the season.
Well, then they also Rihanna. Actually, I like Rihanna, always have. But
No,
and this
I
is
think
not an
Rihanna's
indication
talented.
to her. But she's not really. What's the word I'm looking for? She's not hot right now. She's not the. She hadn't had a new album in several years.
Yeah.
She's not like this act that everyone's wanting to hear or see. And she was not really in position to.
Who
do
did you
this.
want to see?
Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, and
You
Prince.
said Lizzo. You want to see Lizzo?
Oh, I would have taken Lizzo.
I would have want to see those cables hold Lizzo up.
Dude, nah, look, man. I know you're going to bust on like Lizzo's weight, whatever. I guarantee you put Lizzo in the halftime
She's talented.
thing.
She would have played that.
Dude,
flute.
she gonna
highly
bust it
talented,
out,
yeah.
man. She gonna hair, tall, flip my nails,
And,
whatever.
and then she could put on shoulder pads and went out there and got in the game.
and she probably would have played that stinking flute.
And she would have did it with all them fingernails and probably not broken
She ain't
nails.
lying.
With a crystal
She would have
flute.
got. She would have got a holding call against.
Look, man.
No.
Look, Lizzo is a big woman, right? But you gotta.
No, she's fat.
She okay.
Big
fair,
fat
hey,
probably
look,
goes.
fair
Yeah.
enough. But you gotta appreciate a woman with that much confidence,
Yep.
dude. She walks into the room and she thinks she's the finest thing in the room.
So she's delusional. You don't.
I-
you don't appreciate
She- she
Biden
and Joe
walking in
Biden.
being.
Look, I'm not saying I feel the same way, but I gotta respect a woman because she's
Biden walks in
got
the room
the
thinks he's the
swagger.
smartest guy in the room.
He thinks he's
Dude,
smart.
Biden don't know what room
I don't
he's
think,
walking
I don't
into.
think Biden can think. Just chill
So
out.
point
So-
being, when somebody's delusional, don't mean you got to support them for it.
Look,
All right.
Lizzo could probably ride a bike. Don't challenge.
I bet
me
she
here.
could
You're
ride. I
gonna
bet.
lose.
Hold on. I bet she could ride a unicycle.
If you look hilarious on the
Don't
bike,
challenge
you
me,
shouldn't
you're
ride
gonna
it.
lose.
I bet she could ride a unicycle.
She probably could ride a unicycle. She got that. She got that certain thing, man, that just works.
Who do you think can eat better ice cream, Biden or Lizzo?
Lizzo.
Ooh, I don't know. Biden is
that's
an ice cream.
he's
I think
ice
he
cream
loves it
connoisseur.
more than Lizzo. So there were some other things from the Super Bowl. Chris Stapleton did the national anthem, which I happened to miss for some reason.
Beautiful.
but it was beautiful.
Crush.
How did
Yeah,
you
bro.
miss that, T?
Were we sitting there watching it when it happened?
No.
Yeah, I don't recall it.
Wait,
either.
y'all got
We were
invited to my
sitting
house,
there.
and then I didn't make it back in
Oh,
time.
you were sitting there.
You were sitting there, and I don't remember seeing it.
I think
You
it was
didn't
before.
either.
Dude,
No, I wasn't there. I was there right when the game
the
started.
response on social media on the national anthem was just unreal. I mean, everybody loved his rendition.
It
Well,
was
look,
okay.
he's soulful.
I'm not a
Dude.
Chris Stapleton guy.
I hadn't beat
I'm not.
you up in like 7 years.
But he is soulful,
He's soulful, yeah.
and he did an excellent job.
Ow! He hit. You knocked over my beer.
That's not a beer.
That was a beer. Everybody, that
hold
was a
on.
beer. He knocked
That's
over.
not a beer. That's
That
a beer
is
in
not a
Scotch
beer.
size.
It's a Mountain Dew.
A sexy Mountain Dew.
But I mean,
Something.
he did an excellent job on the national anthem.
He did. He did a good job.
He did well. You know, used to. I always like to use that term, but used to.
That's a Southern word.
People watched the Super Bowl for commercials. Do
Commercials.
you guys even remember commercials?
commercials.
Damn, the commercials suck now.
They skimmed by.
A lot of times now they just want to take a famous person,
Yeah.
put in a commercial, and say, "Here we did something."
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Oh.
They had like a commercial with like 5 famous people, and they're like, "Oh, it's a great commercial." No, it wasn't.
No,
So speaking on the commercials, AOC, who we
Yeah.
all think should have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, huh?
You know, they had the Jesus commercial, the religious commercial.
yeah.
She says she don't believe Jesus would have spent the money on that.
Well, it's more to it
believe
than
she's
that.
right.
There's
But
more
I
to
mean,
it
like-
than that.
Like, just stay in your lane, dude. Why even comment? Like, are you that upset about a commercial about religion?
But the commercial was. Did you see it?
No, I don't. I was cooking
I don't
pickled
remember
chicken
watching
wings
it.
and
I saw
nobody
highlights.
ate.
It was a
I
really
ate 'em.
good commercial. The gist of the commercial was basically everybody's at everybody's throats, and that and Jesus, I think the quote was, "Jesus will love the person you hate."
Yeah,
and
basically just quit
what he
being
said,
stupid.
Well, what he really said was we should be childlike. Jesus didn't want us to act like adults. He gets us, all of us, Jesus. And what they're saying is prejudice is not something you're born with. It's something that you learn. It's a learned trait. And we talked about that before. Hatred, war. Kids don't go to war.
No,
Kids
they
sit
don't.
there unless they fight over a toy. But
Hell, you didn't
kids
say my kids.
love
My
each
kids
other.
go to war.
Yeah, but Fort Berry Nation is a different breed.
Yeah, we're having a civil war right
and
now.
I have a very nuclear family. though.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I don't understand why she was upset with it. Actually, what she said was
Because right now Christianity is the cool thing to hate on.
she said Jesus would not fund commercials to make fascism look benign.
Well,
That's exactly the problem.
I appreciate her acknowledging Jesus is real.
Good point.
Yeah, there we go.
there
I think
we
she's
go.
Catholic. I think she's Catholic.
Okay,
But like, why does she care what
Okay.
Jesus wants to spend his
Okay.
shillings
money
on?
on, yeah.
Like, I mean, it don't matter.
But-
Jesus would have never been concerned enough to have enough shillings to pay for the Super Bowl.
So let's see. I found a list of what they considered the top
He would have healed DeMar
The
Hamlin.
top what?
commercials. Did
Nobody
y'all remember
heard me.
seeing a Dodge EV ad? They ranked that number one for Ram premature electrification.
No, I
remember
didn't
seeing that.
remember seeing it, but I did see
I saw
the
Jeep.
truck.
I saw Jeep ones.
Okay, so here's the thing about the EV Jeep has like the exact same gas mileage as the regular Jeep, but if you're a Jeep person, it does have a ton of torque,
Oh yeah.
which is good
Yeah,
for
it won't
Jeeping,
pull,
right? The Dodge one actually looks
Sharp.
pretty sweet.
So there was a Bush commercial. We missed that too. Did you remember seeing a Bush commercial?
Apparently, that's the best commercial of the Super Bowl.
Cold and smooth survival skills.
Oh, I was about to
I
say-
haven't
I was
seen
about to say-
that.
I
It
thought
was,
that
that too.
it was Jamie with his axe.
Michelob Ultra commercial was ranked number 6. Bud Light had one. I thought they weren't doing that.
I saw a Modelo commercial.
Sam Adams, Ben Affleck, Dunkin' Donuts. The Eastbound and Down guy, that wasn't a bad one. It wasn't great.
I
but
didn't
it wasn't
think it was
bad.
great either. It's just they took a famous guy and put him on the bike.
And he acted like he does in every.
So
other
one of
thing
the
he
bigger
does.
commercials was the Will Ferrell with the EV.
I didn't think that was very
Vehicle.
good.
I-
It, was
I mean,
just, it was just him and some electric
I
vehicles.
don't even remember.
It's a
them.
lot of celebrities.
it was a bunch of
just-
celebrities.
I know why I don't remember them though. Gary had me drinking bourbon.
Look,
Hold on.
instead of writing good commercials now, they just want to stick a
They
famous
just put a
person.
famous person. But
All
the
right, when
reason
are we
we
gonna
don't,
have a life from the patio commercial?
bro,
We've
a
done.
long
We've done.
time
We've
from
done
now.
one. We've done. No,
No, he's talking about the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl
Look, there were
commercial.
$7 million for like 30 seconds.
We could probably get somebody to buy us one. If anybody would like to, they can put us in the commercial. We'll
Look,
be the
guys.
best commercial there is
Nah,
next year.
We'll do just
Hold
about
on.
whatever you ask us.
Y'all
to do.
just listen. If y'all give us $7 million, ain't nobody here buying a Super Bowl commercial. Because I'm gonna take all these other fellas out. I'm gonna keep it $7 million. So I'm just being real with you.
It'll all be in
hear that.
Bitcoin.
We ain't blowing it on the Super Bowl commercial.
all be in
I'm
Bitcoin.
looking into the camera.
It'll all be in Bitcoin.
That ain't going in Bitcoin. It's going in the
The-
pocket.
There was some controversy at the end of the game, I guess you would say.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was a good game for those of you that watched.
Man, it was a good game.
A really good game, probably one of the best we've had in a really long time. There was a holding call. It was probably a holding call, but they probably wouldn't have called it normally. Ended up being a difference in the game.
I mean, the dude that was guarding him said it was a holding call. He said it.
Yeah,
held.
but he also told the company line.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
Which
can't
is not
make me-
typical,
Look,
though.
you
It's
can't
not
make me
typical.
believe-
He didn't get
So
fined.
I think most people who was running that ball.
That wasn't a holding.
McKinnon ran
McKinnon?
the ball.
He touched his hip.
So
Are-
it's
are-
McKinnon that could have scored a touchdown
Yes.
and won a bunch of people a whole bunch of money. 'cause
Actually, I might have won some money.
They
if
had
he
their
scores that
parlays,
touchdown.
yeah.
Me too. If
So-
DraftKings.
McKinnon
Probably
slid.
And it was uncatchable.
No, we're talking about two different plays. But
Oh,
yeah,
No, but the hold call was uncatchable.
It was.
No one would
It was
argue that.
uncatchable.
But the thing about a hold is not a pass interference. I don't
Exactly.
think it comes into play. It's really
doesn't.
just a defensive hold becomes
think
an automatic first down.
But I think if you're going to call the hold, you need to call it before
before the
like the
pass is
ball's
already
thrown.
passed. Yeah, the hold.
call the
occurred.
hold.
I don't know how that ended up playing out.
But Andy Reid played it perfectly by sliding and not scoring,
I think
and then killing the clock.
I think the
He
running
played it
back decided to
perfectly.
do that.
I'm going to say I think basketball does it a little bit
Well,
better.
if the
than
running
NBA
back
than
decided
NFL
to
does.
do-
Play.
They'd let them play on something like
Let
that.
'em play.
Let
Let
them
it
play
go,
at the end.
dude.
Let it go. If it's a tic-tac foul, you ain't calling it. It's not going to happen in the NBA.
I say at 60 seconds, unless we just take the referees off the field and we let whatever happens
Whatever
happens.
happens.
Like you just go at it.
That's right.
Well, it was a great Super Bowl. The
It
Kansas
was a
City
good
Chiefs
Super Bowl.
won. I guess after 3 touchdowns, Mahomes is the MVP. I didn't think he was the MVP of the last Super
Dude, he
Bowl.
was not the MVP.
No.
I don't know who else you'd have gave it to.
Jalen Hurts.
Well, but
Give it to
seldom
somebody that
does-
didn't win it.
Well, I mean,
Seldom does the losing team win the.
that don't mean it's not the MVP though.
No, but can we not give it to the loser to
Very
the losing
seldom.
team?
Very seldom does
Very
it happen.
Dude's the MVP.
Who was the
man.
best player of that game?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts was the best player. Of that
I think
game.
everybody would agree with that.
Yeah, give it to him.
He was. All right. You know what? Something we hadn't done in a while. We're going to do some quick takes. I got a long list.
Long-
Of quick takes. 23 Baltimore schools have 0 students proficient in math.
Not
It-
surprised.
0
what?
students. There are 23 Baltimore schools who have 0 students proficient in math.
There's
Meaning
no
not
way,
one
dude.
student. It is. They test them. They can't.
And we're talking about high school, right?
This is a state report shows less than 5% of all students were able to pass the math test.
So by proficient, you mean like meeting their grade requirement?
There was not a single student doing math at grade level out of the 196 schools in the Baltimore metro area.
Ain't no way, dude.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is, and that's what
yeah.
the hell's wrong with us.
Well,
right now.
it's called No Child Left Behind,
That's it.
and that's what it is. But I hope you're leading this into the Arkansas thing.
How do you have no one at the level?
It's inner city. Basically, it's Baltimore. It's inner city. I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised. The thing is, the parents aren't necessarily involved with the students, with what they're doing in the school. We had COVID, set everybody back. It's a sad situation, but unfortunately, I think it's more exemplary of what we have across the U.S. and not just in Baltimore, especially with your inner city.
Did anybody take statistics?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
This quick take.
So like how? No, but
How we get drawn
So
down?
we ain't been 30 seconds into this. Statistics tells you that that's impossible.
No, it doesn't. No.
I mean, the
169 schools.
196. No, it doesn't say. No, it doesn't say impossible. What it says is that they're absolutely terrible at teaching.
At teaching, apparently, because you don't have
Yeah.
That's
one
what it tells
smart
you.
kid out of that many schools. Get out of here.
Less
well,
than,
they're probably the smart ones.
they're probably not in that school. They're probably in private schools or going somewhere else. This is Baltimore public schools, 196 there, and not a single.
They
student
can't
proficient.
afford good teachers because
Because you can't imagine,
At that point,
and
not good
parents that
teachers.
do care are not
Yeah.
sending their kids to that school. We've got this thing in Osceola
That's
schools, very
wild,
similar,
man.
very similar. But Gary, you know what? I will roll over into the others. So,
Yes.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who we've talked about before, she's making waves. She has proposed that she would like to see the state. Is it Congress? I guess you'd say Congress.
yeah.
Her plan, actually, that one didn't let me in. This one will. Proposes raising teacher pay, entry pay to $50,000, which is about $20,000 more than it currently is, and creating a new school voucher program that would allow you to take your child to any school, whether it be a parochial school, private school,
Or
a
homeschool.
different school district, or homeschool. And she is proposing that $7,400 per child is about that you're going to get at the new school you go to.
Yep. I like
And funding.
I love it because you know what? You now have schools actually competing for your child to go there.
Yep.
That's insane that you would actually compete for your child to go to the school so that way you can get their money instead of just automatically getting it and you just have to pass them
You know
along.
what? It blows my mind. The left is typically the ones against school vouchers. Why do you think that is?
they claim it's racism.
That you can allow any child to go to any school they want to is racism.
But-
Well, it's
but-
because the people that go to that school have no choice. They have to go to that school.
but if you get a
right?
voucher, you don't have a choice no more.
So Sanders says that this will cost around $300 million. 150 of that is new spending, while the other half is funding that's already part of the state education budget, but would be repurposed. Now here is
Why would
something.
it cost? I wouldn't think it cost anything else.
It shouldn't. It should be the same amount that we're paying the government.
well,
to pay.
now the raise for the teachers.
The
would
raise
cost.
The raise
for the
te-
teachers.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
that
Yes,
makes sense.
That's the
I'm
additional
for that.
funding. But so Jamie and I were talking about this over the weekend, and there's probably though some issues.
I got some thoughts on it. So what if you're not a good parent and you just say, "Hey, I'm gonna homeschool my kid," and then you just collect the money, your kid gets no education.
Two things. If your kid's not in school slowing my kid down, I don't care.
Well,
Secondly,
They'll be tested.
yeah, they'll be tested.
They're
They'll be
standardized tests.
they do. So
There will
what's-
have to be
is there-
some.
like, I mean, we're all good parents, right? So if we were going to homeschool our kids, which we're not, we're going to send them somewhere because we have jobs, we work every day.
I get your point, but how long does the government have to hold somebody's hand?
Yeah, if someone makes a
well,
poor choice.
apparently the government will hold everybody's hands forever because that's what we do.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
We
but,
give
but-
everybody
But
all
they're-
these.
but
Okay,
they're trying
so-
to get away from
So
that.
we can
Okay.
argue about it. No, they're not. It's a handout. So how many people are going to take advantage of this money by homeschooling their kids
What
and not even
difference,
sending
though,
them?
is it the kids that they're sending to school and don't learn anything at school?
It's-
Are we
it's
holding
no
that school
difference.
accountable for the kid not learning anything?
But is that the school's fault? Because
Sure,
there are
well,
other
it's
kids
one of
that
them.
learn things.
Well, but we're trying to cast shadows on the parent for taking the money, which we hadn't seen happen yet. And there'll be things to keep it from happening.
There'll be
But,
people that
but what
do
about
that.
the parent that sends to school for free health care? The kid doesn't learn anything. They don't discipline them. They're hellions at school, and the parent's not held
So
accountable.
let me ask all of you this: what do you get if you homeschool your kid? I'm asking because I don't know.
$7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I have two
With this
kids, I get
voucher.
$14,000.
You'll get that voucher money.
So how many people that don't give a shit about their kids are going to collect $14,000
Well,
and
there
not
has
teach
to
them
be-
shit?
I have no idea.
No,
A lot.
but
I know if that kid's
but
not there slowing my kid down, I care even less.
and they have to be able, but there has to be a way to police that, and there has to be a Department of Human
So
Services.
here's what I think.
Department of Education has to be a way to do it. But those same kids down there are going to school and not learning anything, causing disruptions.
But are they not learning? So you're just saying just because they're a disruption to your kid, we should give their parents $7,000?
Here we go. Quick takes, more of them right here. Former employee blows the whistle on transgender clinic. We said we weren't going to talk about this much anymore, but damn it, it keeps coming
Here we
back
go.
up.
It comes.
So a former healthcare worker said the transgender center she worked for was breaking the promise medical professionals make to their patients to do no harm. A queer woman, politically to the left of Bernie Sanders, which is kind of scary, in her words, wrote a revealing piece in the Free Press raising several concerns about her 4 years working for Washington University Transgender Center at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Reed said, among other problems, the clinic didn't have formal protocols for how to treat children suffering from gender dysphoria. The center's physician co-directors were essentially the sole authority. There was a team of about 8 of us, and only one person brought up the kinds of questions I had. Anyone who raised the doubts ran the risk of being called transphobe. Reed, who said she worked as a case manager's clinic, detailed how lax the process was for getting hormones into the kids. Basically, they were giving the kids hormones before any doctors ever agreed or parents agreed.
Yeah, that's a serious issue.
Yeah.
They got to quit all that. That's going to be a
Let the child develop. Let them go through puberty.
Exactly.
And then once they're an adult, let them do whatever changes they want to make. The end.
Top Putin ally claims Joe Biden 80 has progressive dementia and could start World War III due to distraction. Anybody surprised by that?
nope. I think they're probably trying to weaponize it, but yeah, I mean he's still probably right.
I'd be distracted by all the balloons too. So
Medvedev is Vladimir Putin's deputy on the Kremlin's powerful Security Council. The Russian has become known as for his rants on Telegram channel. Jamie, are you on his Telegram channel?
Who's that? I need to hear who you said.
Medvedev.
Yeah, I thought you heard those words. I don't know who that is.
they still,
Okay, so you may or may Dmitry Medvedev. Medvedev. That sounds like something you'd be on.
I didn't know they still had telegrams.
It's that social media that the beardos are on.
Oh, okay. I
Telegram.
don't telegram.
So Super Bowl Sunday, we talked about it briefly a few minutes ago. Online betting in America's next could be next opioid crisis. Apparently, betting is now more readily available due to apps such here in Arkansas as Betly, as DraftKings, all of those things. 50 million Americans are set to bet on the Super Bowl, 61% rise since 2022. That's ridiculous. Actually, the amount of people who have basically gone broke from sports betting has reached an all-time high.
Yeah, I think we could be getting on the edge of a crisis, to be quite honest.
It's just more accessible.
Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
It's so accessible. When you have it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can pick up your phone now and just go make a bet.
Yep.
It's easier.
Yep.
So thin-skinned Vladimir Putin, who's only 5'7", has a secret team.
He's 5'7".
He's only 5'7". Check this out, though. He has a secret team dedicated protecting him from memes portraying him as a dwarf, Hitler, or a crab.
A crab.
That's all they do is search the internet.
A crab. What is it? I mean,
Now that I know that, I gotta make something.
a crab.
Yeah, you need to put it on TikTok or Twitter, any of that. Roseanne Barr, she's 70 years old, but she's got a new comedy act. Did you guys know about this?
I did say that.
Nope.
Her the name I think of it is "My Pronouns Are Kiss My Ass." Roseanne Barr belts out jokes during her comedy comeback in Fox special she called "Cancel This." She said she just had it with cancel culture. She just had to come out and
You know, she sued NBC. She now has a part of the Connor show now.
oh, she does.
Oh.
She got it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
She did say that it was crap now that she had left the show. State Department issued its strongest possible do not travel warning for Mexico. You guys heard about this for
Have
spring
not.
break. Apparently, the cartels have infiltrated the what they call them, resort towns along the peninsula.
Well,
And
Yeah, I
issued
ain't
a
going to
do not
Mexico.
travel warning
I don't
across
think
6
it's.
of
I
13
mean, it's
states.
been going on for a while. I think they finally just grabbed a strong enough foothold that you probably don't need to be going anymore.
Where can Americans travel?
America,
Florida.
but not
The
but like just
Caribbean,
parts of
maybe?
America.
I'm not leaving the U.S.
I'm not either.
One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Jerry the King Lawler, a Memphis native, had a stroke last week.
saw that.
Massive stroke. He is out and doing well, but he's 73 years old. He's recovering in hospital.
He be
Suffered
stroking.
a stroke. He be stroking.
Didn't he have a heart attack too just recently?
Well, he
He had
talked
stroke.
about it.
Yeah. He has a stroke or heart attack. You can't take out the king.
Yeah, he'll drop down that strap and go get him. Yeah. Donald Trump now has back on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, I guess social or whatever it is. His what's his media thing? True Social.
True
I
Social.
guess
True
they
Social.
broke or kind of eased up on it because I think he was off because of that.
Yeah.
So last week in the State of the Union address, Biden continued touted his climate law. Did you guys see this? But no one seems to know what that is.
That doesn't surprise me.
There's a law for the climate.
Yes. Apparently he created some climate laws.
I haven't heard that.
He called the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's $369 billion in green incentives, the most significant investment ever to tackle this climate crisis.
So the Inflation Reduction Act, wasn't it for inflation? Because that's what it was called.
Well, yeah, but remember there was some climate stuff in
Oh,
it.
they just put random stuff in.
Yeah, there's a bunch
different
of
bills.
pork in it.
Okay, that's weird.
All right. Adidas cut ties with Kanye West here a few months ago due to his anti-Semitic rants. Apparently, it's costing Adidas a lot of money. The fallout from Kanye's anti-Semitic outbursts has continued this week as his former business partner Adidas says it's facing a massive hit to its profits. $535 million it's losing because
Well,
of
those
stuff like-
shoes that you were talking about, those are
Some Yeezys.
okay. Yeezys, those are made by Adidas, right?
They're
Yeah.
really popular. So then Adidas tried to come back and basically make the shoe design, but not a Yeezy, and it didn't work.
It wasn't quite as sexy.
I mean, Adidas is a German company. I figured that'd be right up his alley.
Adidas.
Yeah. Adidas.
Adidas.
So this has gone under the radar. Maybe it's because of the UFOs, but this is pretty significant. I think we were kind of all waiting on this. CDC has now added COVID shots to the list of routine vaccines for kids and adults.
Nope.
Nope.
Mine ain't getting it.
It puts it alongside vaccines for diseases such as polio and measles.
It is not a vaccine.
Nope.
Eventually, you'll have to have it to go to public school,
That's what's on the
Probably
list.
so.
even
Good.
though we ain't going to talk about it.
Maybe
Yeah.
Sarah Sanders will put that out there
Good.
to shut it
my
off
kids
as
ain't
well.
getting it.
Oh, Sarah Huckabee.
Now, this may be the reason everything's going crazy around the world. A portion of the sun has broken off and formed a vortex.
A black hole.
Who cares?
For all the sun is a ubiquitous and vital part of our lives. A lot about it remains baffling, and now it's done something decidedly peculiar. Material from a filament of plasma erupted from the sun's surface broke away and appeared to form a crown-like vortex over its north pole. How? I guess we're along the center of the sun, aren't we?
No, we rotate around the sun.
Yeah, but like you got north, they call it north-south poles. It always the same.
All right, so
direction?
if you want to get technical, everything is moving through
Yeah,
the
but
universe,
and then we're
and
going around it
everything's
like this.
rotating around it.
The sun's
Is
the
what
Sounds
they
like a
say.
bullet, and then we're going
Yeah,
around.
that's
it
what
like
they
this.
say.
So
Essentially.
is the north always north on the sun?
That's sometimes
Oh, no.
not north of the sun. The North Pole is more about magnetic.
But you're talking. I
Yeah.
don't. Well, but yeah, the poles are though. Is I guess poles have to do something to do with the core there.
The magnetic.
It's got to do with spin.
Yeah, because it's oblong shape anyway.
Everything has to do with spin.
Spinning.
Micro, you guys familiar with micro?
Nope.
Mike Rowe. Oh, Mike Rowe.
Micro.
Yeah.
I
I thought you
said
meant like micro.
I was waiting for you like plastics or something like
I
that.
know, Micro.
Micro, yeah.
From
Dirty Jobs.
Dirty Jobs, that's it. He warns that 7 million American men are done looking for work and have punched out. So that doesn't mean that they're working on their own or anything. They're just not working.
I'm not surprised.
Makes sense.
Is that why our unemployment is so low?
Yeah, but I think at some point they pull you off of the unemployment list if you're not.
You got a lot of people in society that'll take a handout anytime they can.
You stop
and then look at Gary. I mean, technically Gary's not employed.
I'm technically unemployed and I'm not looking, so therefore,
Yeah, but you are employed. You're a business owner.
I'm a business.
Yeah, but
Donnie's a business owner.
But on the stats, though, it would not show. It wouldn't show
that I'm-
I think it would.
I don't know.
I'm curious.
I think it'll show
curious.
once I file my tax.
I'm not really sure, honestly.
I'm not either. I don't.
But you'll get a 1099, right, Donnie? You'll get a 1099 for your work.
Yeah, I'm a
probably, so, right?
contractor.
You're a contractor.
I
You're
got
a
a
business
1099,
owner,
yeah.
and you're a business owner. I think you'll show up differently than someone not looking for work. I'm not even sure how they get these numbers. I guess if you hadn't filed a tax return, probably is what they do with it. But it's kind of worrisome. All right, this is my last one, and this ties back to a TikTok Jamie put out earlier this week. Disney, who been really woke, and I thought they were stepping away from that with some changes. Proud Family shames character for having white fragility and explains it occurs when someone is defensive about their privilege. There's a lot wrong with that whole damn sentence.
Yeah, they put out it's sad. That's all I can say.
It's accusatory, is what it is, and if you come to
So if
somebody,
you argue against white privilege,
then you're showing your privilege.
yeah, then you're showing your privilege. And
white fragility.
Yeah,
Did I say that correctly? Fragility.
fragility. But yeah, you're assuming things based on somebody's color is what you're doing.
Which is, I believe,
It's called racism,
Yes.
but somehow it's not. I don't understand.
Yeah, we're in for a long time.
Yep.
All right, that's all I got for this evening. What you guys got other than Happy Valentine's Day?
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, since y'all said I didn't give you time last time, let's start with Jamie. Jamie, what's your parting words for the world?
I ain't got no part worse. I guess have a good Valentine's Day. I mean, go out there. I'm not a big Valentine's Day person, but
Yeah, I'm not
go
either.
out there, go on a date, takes your old lady some chocolates, and my wife hates when I say old lady.
Gary, what you got for the world on Valentine's Day?
Everybody love everybody from Jackie Moon. There you go.
You say that every
Yeah, I was gonna say you said that before.
But it's Valentine's Day. It makes sense
That's it.
now.
DW, what you got to say to Valentine's Day?
Got nothing, man. I got a good family.
There you go.
All right, everybody. I think that's a wrap.
Save me from my own pride. Change me for my final ride. Oh, walk me to the riverside. And lead me while my mother cries. 'Cause somebody done took from an outlaw. Take my picture down from the courthouse wall. I'm living in the clouds and I ain't gon' fall. Somebody done saved this outlaw.